Well, good morning. Just getting out here now. Finished washing these combines yesterday. Washed this header off a little bit too. She's gonna be I think mostly a combine go through day. I was looking, these combines actually haven't been washed in a couple of years. We had just kind of finished combining with them and then blew them off and stuck them in our shed. And that kind of works. If you can keep them out of the elements, keep them out of the rain and everything and the snow all winter, you don't really have to wash them too much. But they do benefit from a little bit of a splash, some soap and water. So we got belts to check, chains to check, bearings, idler, pulleys, things like that. Got to check all that stuff. Check for leaks. That's really one of the biggest reasons to wash something is when you get the high heat from operating in a day, and you might have a little bit of a weep in a hose or something, it'll start to build up around an area like this. And if you don't actually wash it off and start fresh, you won't be able to tell where the leak is coming from because it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Dad was joking yesterday, it's kind of nice to wash some of that stuff off. Then maybe the combine won't burn down quite as fast as it would if you didn't. So I think this guy is ready to go. This one doesn't need too much. Of course, it's 1,000 hours newer than the other one. Got 1,000 less hours on it. But this 9750 over here, this one needs a little bit of treatment for sure in the one spot. So I put it in my video yesterday that this bracket, if you will, for the it's actually the one that holds the cylinder drive belt tensioner on. So last year this pin had actually broke right here, but in the process of it banging around or doing whatever it was doing, it separated right here in this spot and this spot right here actually. So I gotta loosen this off and hammer that back down and then re-weld it. Get rid of this wire. I don't know what this wire is for, but it can't be there when I'm welding. That won't be no good. And then we will we will see if we can get that welded up. Combines are so hard to wash. I said that yesterday too. All you do is blow the chaff from, say, like right off of this spot right here or over here, and then it blows onto there, and then it gets stuck. So then you come around to the other side and then you blow it back. Combines are like a 2-3 day wash operation unless you have that lots of volume. This guy a while back, he encountered some damage. They John Deere actually came out and they put a new shoe in here and they missed one bolt. They didn't tighten it up, so when they took it out, it actually all come apart and it broke a bunch of these. Did a bunch of damage actually to the actual metal of the combine. They were really good about that. They come back and they fixed everything at that point, which was nice. No questions asked. So, but she has suffered one or two major breakdowns. It was, I think, 3 years ago, one of the straw walkers come apart inside. That was a big job too. Had to peel like the whole back of the combine off and rip that thing out of there. It was all bent up and mangled. I'm really hoping we don't encounter a situation like that this year, but it's very possible. It wasn't very long ago that we replaced all these I don't know what you call them, bearing things or whatever, for those kind of crank that moves the walkers back and forth. So we did those ones, and then we did the ones inside here. Forget how you get at that. There's a window right here. You can pop that out, a little piece of tin, and get at them. Also, most of these chains I did last year, I believe. That one's a little bit loose. Needs to be tightened. And then return return elevator chain probably needs to be tightened. You can see there's lots, but I'm gonna start with the that bracket because that's gonna be a couple-hour job, I bet, and then we'll go from there. Good afternoon, I suppose. I gave her pretty good last night till about 3 in the morning. I was swathing. So we got these 2 quarters that are just peas. They were the last things we seeded. So of course they're still a bit green. We normally like to swath them anyways. Most people have shifted to desiccating and then straight cutting. But these Garde varieties, they don't grow very tall as is, and they lodge. So it makes combining them, straight cutting them, kind of a nightmare. I'm not too sure. I might look for a roller next year. That might be a better option with that 12-inch spacing drill, is to seed them, let them come up a little bit, and then roll them. Not too sure. All in all, this looks like a pretty good crop. I'm a little bit off my game here today. When I got home and finally got crawled into bed, I shivered and my teeth chattered, and I shivered so much that it actually woke my wife up, like the sound of my teeth chattering. So I'm not exactly sure what is going around, but holy man, I did not feel good. I feel a little bit better today. Muscles are kind of sore. I think when you shiver like that for like over an hour, I think it was like an hour and a half of just shivering very aggressively. I had like 2 big fleece blankets on and a big comforter on, trying to warm up. Yeah, which is insane because it was like 20-some degrees all day yesterday. It was like 23 degrees in my house. So there's no reason to be cold. But today I'm paying for it. I got the joint pain, neck pain, arm pain, all the pains you can imagine. Well, good morning. So finished swathing there last night. I'm not going to swath my other quarter until after the weekend here because it's supposed to rain tomorrow. Dad was servicing these combines and he said, oh boy, I think we got a issue with this gearbox in the 9610 again. And I would say, yeah. So I'm not exactly sure how the dirt is getting in there. It did this last year. We took it out, new bearings, new seals, put it back in, and it made the season. But I don't really want to start the season out like that, so I guess we're going to pull it out again. Might just be time for a new one, I guess, because there's obviously a seal gone. Crazy thing is it doesn't leak externally. It only leaks, you know, the dirt leaks in and it fills up, and then it doesn't leak back out. So it's kind of strange. Oh, well, good afternoon. So I got that gearbox out. I was gonna set my phone up somewhere, but I keep breaking all the tripods and the little things with the arms and stuff to mount your phone on. So that never really works. Corey got the bin crane hooked up. We got some bin floors to fix before we start harvest. But I needed to get that gearbox out so I could get it apart. And he did get it apart. Where did he put it? Okay, so it's here. He's cleaning it up again, right full of sludge. And this one here, that bearing's gone again. So I don't know if it's something that we didn't have this tight enough or whatever. He's gonna clean it all up though, and then we'll look. We have some bearings here from last year because about 5 years ago we had the same gearbox go out on that 9750, and we just replaced the whole gearbox. This year or last year, we had that gearbox go out in this one, so we bought a bunch of bearings and stuff to rebuild it, and we only used part of it. So there's the diagram for the guts of it. So I'm just going to go through here, find out what we got for bearings, find out what we don't have for bearings and seals, call John Deere, and then go pick them up We got some parts at Douglas Lake too, so that's why it's nice to get a jump on this stuff, get a little bit of swathing done, get a little bit of combine maintenance done, and check so you can find out what you need. Well, good evening. I was just getting everything tidied up for the night. Want to make sure my valves have closed on my molasses tanks and my hammer mill's closed up. So we're supposed to be getting a little bit of rain tonight. Started off as like 90% chance of 5 to 10 and then went down to 80% chance of 2 to 5 and then went to 60% chance of 1 to 3. I do expect that we will probably get some form of moisture this evening, overnight, maybe a little bit into tomorrow. Last few days I've been just swathing, so we got those seals changed in the swather, got it fixed, got a bunch of guards and knives changed, and then it was bang, just out swathing, and I swathed that 160 acres across the trees way over there. Swathed that till like 3 in the morning 2 days ago, and then got up, was hanging out around here in the morning making bags, waiting for people to come pick up their bags, loading up molasses. Someone's pretty much got to be here all day long in the fall or close by to pick up all the different to load up the people. So until my dad gets here in the morning, I just kind of hang out though. So then he got here, and then I went back out, swathed the next quarter because the weather does look pretty good for 2 weeks. There's the odd chance of the odd shower, but what I was most concerned about is the wind. So if you swath peas, and before we used to swath and we never rolled them, they will blow away. Like you get a 60 kilometer an hour wind and they'll start rolling up and there'll be a lot of wind damage. We did buy that, well, swathing's over there, but we did buy that roller and put it on, so I had that pushing them down, and it actually helps to form the swath too, because they are quite a fluffy crop to swath. So I was worried about wind. I looked in the 2-week forecast. Don't put a lot of faith into the weatherman, but you got to look at something, right, to try to justify it in your own mind. It looks good, so I went and cut the other one. Got that till 10 or 11 o'clock last night as well, and then I was getting a bit overwhelmed, I guess, last week or whatever. I even had to put some stuff off. I just can't be taken off and trying to do stuff for other people. Unfortunately, there's just no time. Bin floors, we're finally getting to that. That's been pushed off now for 3 years. So that bin there, we were going to do it up in the bin yard, but actually it was kind of windy today. So as soon as we picked that bin up and it was hanging from the crane, it was kind of like a big sail, just like blowing in the wind. So I was just like, yeah, whatever, I'll just drive it down here. So I drive the safe in the yard, set it back down on the ground. But this is the floor. This is the situation here. So we've been shoving rags in the holes for the last year or two here with the plan of doing something with it, and we didn't know what that was going to be. Put it on a hopper, put it on a steel floor, just repair the wooden floor, or build a whole new wooden floor. Right, that's a 2,500 bushel bin. It's only 14 feet, so in today's farming world, do you waste a bunch of money? I think a hopper for that would be $7,500 or better. Cement, I don't know what it would take to put it up on cement. Of course, to get a bin crew and make a form and everything would probably be more than just, say, pouring a slab and setting it on a slab. But the weird thing is it even worth it? Like, one of the things, you look at the top where the auger goes in, our new, like a 13-inch auger barely doesn't even fit in there. Doesn't even fit in that hole. So they make kits now where you can actually come down the bin, cut it out, and put a bigger hole so you can put a bigger auger in there. But my point is, we're outgrowing the bin. So to spend a bunch of money to put it on a hopper or to put it on cement, to me, doesn't make a whole bunch of sense. I would rather just kind of save that money and then buy another 10,000 bushel plus bin package and build it myself, and then either put that on cement or put that on concrete, or, I mean, we've even put those on wood floors, and it's turned out just fine. The one thing was, like, lumber prices skyrocketing made the thought process behind this a little deeper. For a while there, it was like way more money to build this out of wood than to just get someone to build it out of metal and put a 2-foot lip. So as we are with most things, we were a day late and a dollar short, as they say, because we reached out to a couple people, local people that we like to use, and to get a steel bin floor, it's like over a month away. They don't have any, of course. There's like nobody has anything anymore. That is kind of our fault. We could have ordered these earlier on. Originally, though, we had thought we could probably just cut out the rotten stuff, and then because we've done that in the past with some of our other bins, just build what you need, because you know, really the inside is good. That never rots on a bin unless you leave the roof open. It's always stays. Like this floor is 30 some years old, I think, and be 25 anyways, so it doesn't owe anybody anything. But once we found out you couldn't get a steel bin floor, and like you say, we're not really going to go down the hopper bin route. If we're going to build a hopper bin, we'll build a 5,000 plus bushel hopper bin, and we'll just build it from new. So this is kind of just make that usable again. So what we're going to do, Dad actually took the trailer into town tonight. He's going to run over to the local lumber yard in the morning, and he's going to pick up enough wood to build one floor. That way we can get a really good, accurate cost of the floor. This floor I'm either going to put under my hammer mill, or I'm going to put it under my dryer. There is 2 more bins we got to do. One floor is in really bad shape. The skid actually broke, so I expect it's all wrecked. And the other one is probably the similar condition to this. So I'll have 2 floors, like you say, one for that hammer mill, one for that dryer. That'll be better. There's always a certain amount of grain that falls through those dryer screens and lands on the ground around it. Now it can land on a wooden floor and I can sweep it up. And there's always a certain amount of grain that gets spilt out of the hammer mill that needs to be cleaned up as well. I did shove both combines back in the sheds because it is supposed to rain tonight. And we didn't clean the grain out of the hoppers from last year. It's just like bone dry canola in there. So I don't want to get rained on, right? As long as it stays in a shed or something, that stuff is just fine. There's just a little bit left in the bottom. And in the 9610, the hopper is actually all full of tools because this gearbox, Dad checked the oil in it today and he said, it's black. And I said, well, Dad, that's no good. We got to take it out. And he said, yeah, you betcha. So we ripped it out of there, and this bearing was gone up in here. But so we had some new bearings. But once he cleaned it up, he noticed this big crack in the side. So that's toast. Fortunately, John Deere did have one sitting on the shelf. Unfortunately, though, that's a different shaft on the new one. So we had to order a new shiv. Wasn't a total wasted trip, though. Mom picked up my light that I broke on the Swathing header. So it was I guess it was a productive trip, but expensive because $2,990, $200 and some for the shiv. This little star piece, it's like drive for the bubble up auger. This one was worn out pretty bad. It should look symmetrical. Was $100 and some. We just got a new one because, I mean, it would wear on these two for the rest of its life. But I'm wondering if engaging it is maybe what broke the, you know, if it skipped over here and then smacked into that auger. Maybe that's part of why that broke. I don't know. So anyways, we got a new one of those too. And that's been that. Often is the case with farming. You got your wallet out for some reason when town is involved. That's why we don't like going to town, because every time we do, it's easily $1,000 day. And we're a couple oil changes now, a couple jugs of that oil to go in that new gearbox, some filters. You know, we're creeping probably up and down $5,000 mark, and we haven't even started combining yet. So just keep on keeping on, right? As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you all on the next one.